The little boy in me would be like, yay! Hey everybody, Koricon here, and I've got
Matt Kohler.
And we were getting ready to film some Young Justice episodes and thought, well, Avengers Infinity War trailer popped today. I was going to do it on my live stream tonight, which I'm still doing, so if you're watching this, come and check out the live stream. I'll do other trailers, but since we had Matt here, I thought it would make for an interesting conversation because Matt does not like comic book movies.
Why do you just have to put it out like that, man?
Because people need to know you don't like comic book movies. I like comic book movies. And so I thought it would be an interesting conversation. We'd give like a, both sides of the coin on opinion. Now,
so everyone can bash me.
Yeah, feel free. But you have seen the trailer. I haven't seen it yet. So this is really just my reaction, and then you're here to have the discussion part afterwards.
Yes, I am.
All right. Do you have your trailer ready to go?
Oh, it's up and ready.
All right. So, Avengers Infinity War, trailer number 2. Let's check it out.
The entire time I knew him, he only ever had one goal. To wipe out half the universe.
Nice.
If he gets all the Infinity Stones, he can do it with the snap of his fingers. Just like that.
Tell me his name again.
Thanos. CGI for him looks pretty good. I like it.
We got an advantage.
That's nice.
He's coming to us.
What?
We have what Thanos wants, so that's what we use.
Let's talk about this plan of yours. I think it's good, except it sucks. So let me do the plan, and that way it might be really good.
Wow.
Nice. Hulkbuster.
When I'm done, half of humanity will still exist.
Oh, they're gonna go into a backstory.
Perfectly balanced. As all things should be.
Oh!
I hope they remember you.
All right. There's a lot of things in there that I wanted to pull apart.
I'm Peter, by the way.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, you're using your made-up names. Then I am Spider-Man.
Oh, we're using our made-up names. All right, so we'll go into opinions in a bit, but I wanted to go through the trailer itself. So first off, we hear, she's telling Stark about Thanos, basically warning. So that gives us the reason of why Guardians of the Galaxy is involved in the movie. They're not just thrown in there, they're bringing the information and setting up the story for the movie, which is good. I don't want them to just be dropped into the film. Like, they're bringing information, they're bringing a backstory. Now we saw...
Do they know who Thanos is?
The people on Earth don't.
No, in the Guardians movies.
Yeah, she's his daughter. Adopted daughter. He killed her parents and stole her, basically.
Oh, like Shao Kahn to Tom.
And same with Nebula,
Okay.
the blue bald lady that I like. She's also a daughter of Thanos. You have a lot of characters that are called the children of Thanos. They don't technically have to be blood. He just calls them his children, and they're kind of like his followers. But she was raised by him, and that was part of what we saw later on in the trailer, where you see his big hand and the little grabbing his finger and him walking. That's backstory. I guess they're going to be talking about how he ended up raising her. We got some cool shots of Spider-Man on the side of the bus. Now, what's weird is he's on the side of this bus, sticking to the side of it without his costume on. And then he puts his mask on. If there are any kids in that bus, don't you think they just now realize that their friend is Spider-Man?
Yeah, and they all, didn't they see someone getting out of the bus?
Climbing through the window? Maybe the bus is empty, but I doubt it. I don't know why
Maybe he's the only one on the bus.
But it's just, it's odd that he gets out, he has no mask on, he's hanging on the side of the bus, then he puts his mask on. Like, no one's going to notice that.
I mean, I feel like it's a cool shot, but in terms of it making sense, it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's a lot more in that scene that we just don't know for context. That maybe there is a way of him, like he's hiding his identity in some way, but it's weird to just be sticking to a side of a bus and then you put your costume on.
Yeah.
But the scene right after that of him swinging under the bridge and then he's like skimming across the water, that is very Peter Parker. Like, that is exactly Peter. Like, I love this. I love Tom Holland's. I was about to say Tom Welling, and that's Superman. I like Tom Holland's Spider-Man. He's my favorite of the Spider-Man. But then that next shot where Iron Man's feet kind of bond together and he gets a super boost.
Yeah,
So he is there with Spider-Man at that time when they're in New York and see that circular portal orb. So I guess they're going to be working on that at the same time. That brings their stories together, along with probably how they get connected with Doctor Strange, since he's out there as well. Because then they showed Doctor Strange. But they're talking about how it looks like Guardians of the Galaxy group, they come to Earth before Thanos, because they're warning everybody. So now they know what Thanos is after ahead of time. I was wondering whether or not Thanos would come and then the Guardians and Thor would follow afterwards. And Thanos is using the element of surprise. But now they know they need to protect the stones, which one is in Vision. Doctor Strange has one on his neck.
The Cosmic Cube.
Yeah, the Tesseract, but they showed in the other trailer that Loki is giving the Tesseract to Thanos, so it's probably one of the first ones that he gets. We still don't know where the Soul Stone is. A lot of people think it's in Wakanda. I think it's in Wakanda, but they haven't mentioned it.
But didn't Ryan Coogler say he wanted his film to be attached at all to Avengers?
Well, he didn't want to have anything in the movie that would be setting up Avengers.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that the Soul Stone wouldn't be there. He just didn't mention it in his movie.
Yeah.
But a lot of people think the Soul Stone is there. But it could be somewhere else. I think the Soul Stone is a part of Black Panther's, maybe not his suit, but has something to do with it. Mm-hmm. Something in his family. But then we get some more stuff. Let's see. I like this joke. I know you groaned about it, but I like this joke. I think it's good, except sucks. So let me do the planning, and that way it might be good.
It's just...
I love it because that's him. I mean, that is Chris Pratt is perfect as Star-Lord. And then the confusion on Stark's face, like, no. Like even Drax looked a little like, I don't know if we should do that.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, it will be interesting to see those two interacting.
Yeah, I mean that's part of what makes this movie so, everybody is looking forward to it, is we get to see a lot of these characters come together and interact with each other. It's something we don't get very often. So I'm looking forward to that, especially. But Thanos looks cool too. Now we just saw Black Widow and the Hulkbuster at Wakanda. Now one of the theories...
I was going to say, I feel like the Wakanda fight's like the end of part 1.
I think the Wakanda fight is going to be in the beginning of the movie.
But like that's kind of weird because the Hulkbuster's there.
Right, and I think the Hulkbuster has Bruce Banner in it. I don't think it's Stark. I think Bruce Banner, because of what happened in Thor Ragnarok, he was Hulk for 2 years, that he's afraid to turn back into Hulk because Hulk won't let him turn back into Bruce again. And so he's trying to avoid turning into the Hulk. And so I think Bruce Banner is piloting the Hulkbuster suit because he does move around more like the Hulk does. Jumping on the sideways, just the way that Bruce Banner moves around. So I think it's Bruce Banner that is at Wakanda, and he is in the Hulkbuster suit.
So you think the Guardians will go to Wakanda first?
No, I think the Guardians are in New York. They're in.
But isn't Bruce Banner with Thor and Loki?
Yeah, but they did show in the other trailer that Bruce Banner got dropped into New York. So maybe Wakanda is at the end. The last major battle.
Or it could be the halfway point.
Could be the halfway point. I just think it would have been better if Thanos surprised Wakanda, but the people in New York just haven't gotten there yet to be able to let them know. So maybe they join after the battle and they have like an aftermath of the first encounter with Thanos kind of thing. And then he gets the Soul Stone. That's what I was assuming, or that's what I was thinking. Now, if it happens at the end, of course, I'm not going to be mad about it. But I just thought it was interesting because you didn't see Stark, you didn't see Guardians of the Galaxy, any of the New York guys. You don't see in Wakanda. You see Captain America, Hulk, Winter Soldier, Falcon, and Black Widow.
Yep.
So they're two separate groups. Yeah, I guess the question is, how does Bruce Banner get over there and not anyone else? And later on in the other trailer, we see Bruce Banner as Hulk. So is he in the Hulkbuster for a while, but then just can't contain?
And then he busts out of the Hulkbuster.
That would be pretty awesome to see Bruce Banner not be able to control Hulk, and Hulk busts out of the Hulkbuster. He busts the Hulkbuster. I mean, come on, that would be awesome.
I feel like that's going to happen.
The little boy in me would be like, yay! I would totally turn into an 8-year-old that would just freak out over the dumbest thing. Be like, Hulk just busted the Hulkbuster. I'm so stupid. But that would be funny. I think it would be awesome. Anyway, so they didn't show much Thor, except you see Thor is with the Guardians, and he's doing his lightning thing with his eye patch. And we see backstory.
Well, don't you see his head get crushed by Thanos, like grabbed?
No.
There's a shot of that, I thought.
That was Captain America. Captain America was holding Thanos' hand away.
No, that's I could have swore there's a shot where
Thanos is holding Thor's head?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going through it now. We'll see. So now we see Gamora with Thanos when she was a child. Oh, yep, here it is. Yeah, he's holding Thor's head. Now it looks like he's holding it and they're in space. Do you think Thanos kills Thor before they even get to Earth? That would be a very quick death for Thor. He didn't do much in the movie.
He gets Count Dooku'd.
Now, there's two things about that. If they kill Thor, like in the beginning, that is a huge risk. I would commend them for it. But then I would be pissed after the fact that they showed it in the trailer, because we just guessed it.
Mm-hmm.
Which means the trailer gave away way too much information. But Marvel and Disney seem to be pretty careful about what their trailers give away. They don't normally give away too much.
I mean, I would agree, but I mean, even still, like, it could be one of those things like how they did Thor Dark World, where everyone thought that he was going to lose a hand. And it was just aha, gotcha. But like,
I wouldn't want them to do like the same thing. Like they do this scene, and then we find out it's Loki disguised as Thor, and then Loki dies. I'd be like, I'm okay with Loki dying, but I don't want, like you said, Dark World over again.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like in their mind, maybe they have to kill one off right away.
Well, I can't say that we've seen too much of Thor in the rest of the trailers, just that beginning part. You don't see him in any of the battles. You don't see him in Wakanda. You don't see him in New York.
I salute you, Thor.
But he just became awesome. Like with all of the lightning and stuff. I don't want him to die so fast.
Raiden.
give him the straw hat and let him be Raiden. We just saw. So it's in the same scene. I think he's holding Thor's head. They show the other side, and we now get to see the children of Thanos. The four bad guys. Now we got to see like a little bit of the female with the trident spear. I guess she threw it at Captain America. But we never get to see like this full shot. And they look good. They look.
So these are these like the four horsemen of apocalypse, pretty much?
Yeah, except they're the children of Thanos. But it's the same kind of idea. They go out and they kind of set the groundwork for and clear the path for Thanos to come in. And they all have different things about them, like, you know, one is more of a warrior, one is more of a intelligent one. Like, they all have their own strengths.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember their names, though, and takes away some of my nerd cred, but whatever.
I guess. I mean, I know nothing about Thanos.
Well, like, so these four, I'm glad that we got to see some of them in the trailer, and later on we get to see one being super evil, basically torturing, which was interesting. I gotta say, the CGI looks a lot better than I was expecting. When you have cartoonish characters like this, the CGI can be really bad, like Superman's mustache or Steppenwolf. I thought Steppenwolf looked horrible. With these characters, they're more fantastical, and I think the more fantastical you get, the more leeway you have on the CGI.
Yeah.
You know, if you're trying to make it look more real, like, you know, Grand Moff Tarkin or Princess Leia, that's when it becomes really evident the CGI just does not look right, or when you're trying to fix Superman's mustache. But when you have like extreme fantasy characters, basically monsters, you get more leeway on the CGI. I thought the stuff around Steppenwolf looked good in Justice League. It was just his face that didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they
Yeah,
had,
I mean, he was also a generic look, but
well, and he looked just like the Ares at the end of Wonder Woman.
yeah.
It was pretty much the same bad guy, almost. But I think if they had made Steppenwolf like a human face and then had the CG around it, would have been a lot better. However, I don't know. Anyway, I think these guys look pretty good. I think Thanos' CGI looks really good because the motion capture gets a lot of the micro expressions that I think many CGI characters are lacking. And so it's good to see those micro expressions. So then we see Thanos crushing the Tesseract, which is his way of getting the stone out to put it in his thing. We get to see Captain America with his Wakanda shield, which is cool. Wakandans going into battle.
They're having their episode 1 moment.
Episode 1 moment?
The giant shield in the
yeah. Yeah, them battling the droid army. Or no, actually, they would be the droid army battling the
Gungans.
The Gungans, yeah. It look a lot like that, doesn't it? Oh my gosh, it looks, except in this, it's a more, it doesn't have that watery.
Yeah.
Like this is kind of more like a fire in space or electricity kind of flow.
It's still fun.
But it does. It's blue. It's a force field. I mean, basically, it looks like the droids against the Gungans.
Just better CG.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I'll give you that one. And then we see looks like we see I was about to say Captain Strange. Oh no, this is
He got downgraded.
Now we see Doctor Strange doing some spell, but then Star-Lord is jumping on the spells. So that's cool. I really wanted to see Doctor Strange using his abilities to enhance everyone else. You know, just like if you had an RPG battle, you have your healer supports everybody, or the mage supports everybody. So
he's a support mage.
Yeah, I mean, he can do his own damage, but really he's there to enhance everybody around him.
So Hulk's a tank. Thor's a tank.
I would say Hulk is a tank. Thor is a kind of a mage. You would give him like maybe a middle. Give him a middle, like a...
Captain America, I feel like, is DPS.
I think Captain America, he would be like a rogue.
Oh, okay,
Quick and nimble, you know?
Yeah.
Star-Lord would be kind of a rogue as well.
And Black Widow and Falcon would just be fodder.
Poor Black Widow. I hope she does well and she survives, but she is way over her head.
Yeah, she literally just has 2 guns, and say that Hawkeye literally is like using an outdated weapon. It's like, I guess, why am I even using this anymore?
And then now this torture scene. This is the torture scene I was talking about. You have looks like blades of glass, needles of glass, going into Doctor Strange's body, being controlled by one of the children of Thanos, and he's going, shh. So I'm wondering, are they trying to extract information out of him, or are they trying to just torture him in general? I would assume they're trying to get information out of him, like
maybe where the rest of the group is, like in Wakanda, or...
Well, if he gets captured, maybe he was able to give the time stone to somebody before he was captured, so he doesn't have the amulet, and maybe they're torturing him for the information on where the amulet is. It could be. But there is a lot of stuff going on in here. And yeah, the talking, Thanos is talking. The way that his face looks and his lips move, it's it's a bit exaggerated because it's CGI and his head is really big. But it still looks better than I was expecting it to. I'm actually impressed with how his stuff looks. Yeah, and then we see Thanos with his hand over Captain America.
Which is ridiculous.
Well, he doesn't look like he's trying. Thanos.
Even still.
It almost looks like he's toying with him. And we only see 2 stones. We see the Soul Stone. At least I think that's the Soul Stone, the purple one. And the Tesseract. So maybe the Soul Stone was in Wakanda. Or maybe he got it earlier. I don't know.
Or it's in Stark Tower, how it lights up the building.
But we can't see the thumb. So we can only see the 2 stones on the top and nothing in the middle, but we can't see if he's got the one on the thumb yet. Because it's on the side. But, yeah. I'm liking it. I'm now wondering if, Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man are the 3 that will most likely either die or retire. And like you pointed out with Thanos holding Thor's head, does that mean that Thor doesn't make it? I just don't want him to die right in the beginning. Now it's
You don't want him to be like one of the Transformers in the 86 movie?
No, I don't want him to be Optimus Prime in the first 5 minutes of Transformers. But he, I would be okay if he died. I'd be sad, but it would be okay. But in the beginning of the movie, that would be a brave decision.
I think what could happen is this is kind of like a Dragon Ball Z move type of, where like Thanos, the big bad guy, would come in at the beginning and annihilate Thor, and he thinks he killed him, and Thor would come back in the second one, like even more powerful and like wreck stuff. That way you get a surprise. You think, like, because, both of us would be fooled. The people who are, reviewing the trailer, looking at every shot and going, okay, Thor's not in anything else, so he's dead. And that's a great way to be like, to let the people guess on, like, who the hell, like, is he alive? Is he dead?
Mm-hmm.
And then in the second one, you get the shock of, like, Thor coming back and, like, kicking the crap out of people. Plus, it'd give him a moment.
True.
Something he doesn't normally get in these movies.
Right. Well, and if you do kill off Thor in the beginning of this movie, giving him something like a last-ditch effort or a one send-off thing in the sequel would be good. But don't just bring him back to life. Have it like a one-time thing. I don't know what you would do, but just a one-time thing. He comes back from the netherworld, and only has enough time to do one thing before he has to go back. Something like that,
I will say, like, I know we talked about this the last time because we did the first trailer. Yeah, I don't see the likelihood of them killing off anyone for the sole reason of, like, the movie is catered towards kids. And those kids would either be, like, bawling or, like, completely just turn off. Just like the Transformers movie. Like, you don't want, like... Although they took it to in that movie.
Yeah, they took it to an extreme that they won't do. I mean, they're not going to be killing off a whole bunch of characters. And then if they do... When they do a death, it's going to be more of... they're going to have an emotional context with it. It's not going to be a quick death. It's going to be... That's shocking. It's going to be like they're injured and they're dying. They get the last words, kind of like they're going to ease the kids into it, like you did with in The Lion King or something like that. You know, it's not going to be like Bambi where they just shoot the mom and she's gone. You know, it's going to be a little bit drawn out just to ease the kids through it, kind of walk them through it, instead of all of a sudden Thor's brains are goo on Thanos' hand.
Oh
and
my
he's just
gosh.
wiping it.
Yes.
I know you would love that, but he's like, ugh.
Actually, what I was thinking was so you see that scene where he's grabbing Thanos' head, or Thor's head, and then later on, they're like, I already fought one of yours, and he shows them the head and just throws it out to them.
Well, that would be something like in Gladiator or, you know, a lot of those war movies.
Or like even something like in Lord of the Rings, where in Return of the King, they catapult all those Gondorian heads to cause fear, and then they go raid the camp.
Exactly. But they're not going to do that.
I know. There's so much that I want them to do that's like the comic books, but
No, not for PG-13 movie.
I just go back to the 80s where that meant nothing.
Yeah, when there was no PG-13.
Or in PG really meant nothing either.
No, PG was just, well, they didn't have nudity. Well, actually, some of it did.
Jaws.
Jaws, yeah. Well, never mind.
What was PG?
PG was anything that was not G and not R. That was basically PG. But I think, you know, I'm excited for the movie. Obviously, I want to see it badly. I know you're just kind of like, by now, just because you don't really like comic book movies anymore. But are you going to see it?
Well, of course, because we're probably reviewing it. So you already know.
Right.
Spoilers, we're reviewing it. But there's a couple of things I'm actually excited for. I'm more excited for the fan reaction and like how people react in the crowd. Because I think it's too much action. It will get to a point where they're just tired. Yeah,
you can overexpose the action to where people become numb to it and then they get bored.
Because it looks like there's so much.
Now, this is unrelated to Avengers, but on my other channel where we do Indian movies, we have a movie coming out at the end of the year that's highly anticipated called 2.0. It's a new Rajnikanth film, and it's like the most expensive movie to come out of India. And there's rumors that the end battle is like an hour long. And I was like, please don't do that, because eventually, you know, the audience can't stay with it that long. You know, you need to be able to retain the audience. And I don't think it is. I don't think it's going to be an hour-long fight sequence. But it is going to be a long one. They've got multiple sets, multiple settings so far. So it's going to be a multi-layered fight sequence. Kind of, I think, more along the lines of like Man of Steel, you know, where they were going through the buildings and everything. Like you'll have that kind of battle, but I don't think it'll be an hour. Now, this looks like they're breaking up a lot of those action sequences in Avengers Infinity War, you know, by having the characters in multiple locations. So you have the drama of what's going on in Wakanda, you have the drama of what's going on in space, and you have the drama of what's going on in New York. And then they're intercutting that with action sequences from either all three or peppered around. It's more going to be the balancing act of how the directors, the Russo brothers and the writers, can structure it all into a narrative that makes sense, because there's so many characters. You don't need to do much characterization except for with Thanos, which they do show that they're going to do.
I still think he's still going to get crapped on, Thanos, for a couple of reasons. I mean, obviously this ain't a surprise, but like Marvel hasn't been good at all with 99% of their villains, and he kind of looks the same as all the others. Like they have that same walk pattern, they all like do that same slow motion thing. There's no like difference between him and I can't remember the villain from Thor: Dark World or the Dark World, and I've seen that movie. But like they all have like a generic army. They all have like some crazy power that they're after. It's like I would kind of like one where they're just, like I would like to see a villain who is actually weaker than the enemy, than the good guys, and like was outsmarting them.
Well, they've been setting up Thanos for a very long time. We know who he is. Like, we know he's powerful. We know that he's been going after these stones for most of the movie.
For
most of the
6 years.
6 years. So, I agree with you on, like, a villain side. I would like a more intelligent villain than just powerful villain. But this is the villain that they've been setting up for all this time.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to change course.
No. And the MCU has been doing better with their villains as of late. Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming was one of my favorites. And Killmonger in Black Panther. Those two were like some of my favorite Marvel villains, and they were the most recent.
But then before that, like, there's Baron Zemo.
I know, but I'm saying, like, they have been progressively getting better. Like, they've heard the complaint of these throwaway Marvel villain, and they've been writing them better. So I'm hoping Thanos is part of that new wave of good villains.
I will say, like, I mean, I do agree, but I think part of the reason why that is because Black Panther and Spider-Man are such a self-contained story. Like, you could have one and never do another one. Like, there's no real setup to sequels. It's just a movie, and here's a villain who's going to do something. And, I mean, like, I liked Black Panther more than most of the Marvel movies. I actually wish there was more Eric Killmonger.
I agree.
Like that was my biggest problem. I think that and the final fight was very hard to tell what was going on between those two. But, like, I don't think that's going to happen because you have literally 30 characters. I mean, when those credits roll, it's like there's going to be like 30 named actors and then guy who holds guns staring at Captain America. Like, that's what's going to be like the one under, like.
Actually, I think it's a lot more than that. I think they were saying some upwards of like 70 heroes, 70 characters at one point or something like that.
But thank God we don't have like the Lantern Corps or something from DC just show up.
Yeah, we don't need any crossovers yet.
This movie would have been $1 billion if I think both together is $1 billion. Each cost $500 million to make, but this movie alone would have been $1 billion if like Thanos is fighting a bunch of them. And all of a sudden, you get the X-Men theme, and you see the Blackbird, and you see Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, and all of them just roll up, and I'm like, oh.
It would make even more money if the X-Men theme was from the cartoon in the 90s.
Oh hell! I mean, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
You're like, ah!
I'm not. I would have given a standing ovation. I would still give a standing ovation because here's my thing. Okay, so every Marvel movie that comes out, I have a theory of how Red Skull is going to come back.
I would want Red Skull to come back. I agree with you on that. But I don't see it happening.
Yeah, the history of the character does not play well with PG-13. You can't sell a Red Skull toy.
I think they have.
I mean, they do, but like, I don't know how well they sell, and I don't know if like parents are like I think as adults, like for instance me, like I enjoy Red Skull. I always have. Maybe I'm a Nazi. I don't know, but like when I was like 5 years old, I always liked the character. I thought he was really creepy, really menacing, and I was excited to see him in First Avenger. And then when I found out one of my favorite actors, Hugo Weaving, was playing, I'm like, this is a match made in heaven. And, like, they did fairly well. I think how they set him up, I think the first encounter...
He was one of my favorite villains up until, like, of the old Marvel movies. That was my favorite of the old Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I liked Red Skull a lot. He had character. He was different. He was unique. He was self-contained in the story. But Hugo Weaving didn't like doing it, and so I don't think they would ever be able to get him back to play Red Skull again.
And see, what was really upsetting, this is part of the reason why I don't like Winter Soldier. So in the comic book, Alexander Pierce becomes Red Skull. And so there was rumors that Red Skull was coming back. So I'm like, all right, he's going to whip off, Robert Redford mask, and it's going to be Red Skull, and I'm going to crap my pants. Because so what happens in the comics
that could still happen?
Yeah. What happens in the comics is at the very beginning of Winter Soldier, Winter Soldier kills Red Skull. Like Red Skull's like, yeah, I'm gonna take out Captain America, and all of a sudden he dies, and it's like, yep, that's how we're starting our comic. And then, like you keep seeing this guy Alexander Pierce who's controlling Winter Soldier, and at the very end of the comic, you're like, who the hell is Alexander Pierce talking to? And you see in the reflection, it's Red Skull. And like Red Skull has slowly been taking over Alexander Pierce until after when he assassinates Captain America in the comics, it's revealed that Alexander Pierce has become Red Skull. And I'm just like, if this happened in the movies, because that's honestly one of the reasons why I don't like the Marvel movies, is because my one favorite villain is just like, yep, he just kind of went somewhere,
ran away,
we haven't seen him again. Yeah. Like he didn't even lose, he just disappeared.
Yeah, I would like to see Red Skull come back. I think it would be great. Yeah, I guess I think this movie is going to concentrate more on Thanos' character. So if they do that, both movies would end up being a lot better, because an intriguing villain is what we need. I mean, that's why Black Panther and Spider-Man Homecoming work so well, is we understood the motivations of the villain. We liked the villain, and I agree with you. Having it be a self-contained storyline really helped it a lot. But these sequels could be self-contained in a way. I mean, we haven't had much of Thanos. We don't have any of his backstory. We just had little scenes and after credit stuff with him, and people talk about him. So
it'd be really interesting if most of the movie took place in Wakanda. And I'm not saying the entire movie's one giant war, but you have this setup of once again in Dragon Ball Z, when after Raditz dies, Raditz is like, hey, there's these two Saiyans that are going to come down. And for a while, of course, 30 episodes, because you gotta milk it. Right. The heroes are training, and we get something where the heroes are coming up with stuff the Guardians are like, you got a week to prepare. We came here before Thanos. That is not a lot of time, but it's something. And so you have Iron Man come up with new tech. You get Spider-Man with the new suit. You get Captain America with the Wakanda shield. And that could take some time. And then it's it's go time. Thanos and I think Thanos actually goes to New York first. Yeah. I think he goes to New York, and then later is oh, this city with much better technology than the entire world. Well, I'm going to take out that first, and then go everywhere else. I think he encounters Loki in New York, which you see. Loki's going to tell him all the information about where to hit, where to strike, because Loki's Loki and he's a survivor. That's what he does. Right. I mean, I would like to see Thanos wipe Wakanda out. Just see some devastation. Everyone's running, and I guess I mean the thing I'm wondering is how the hell they end it. Do they end it like Harry Potter 7 Part 1, where Voldemort's creepily over a tomb, instead Thanos is over someone? Maybe a Vision. He's over Vision, and he plucks the stone from out. Yeah, like they showed in the other trailer. Yeah. I don't want to see Wakanda get destroyed, but I know where you're going with that is to show that Thanos is dangerous. You got to destroy some stuff.
I think a lot of that destruction will end up being in like New York and maybe outside of Wakanda.
Yeah, well, New York can take it after the first one.
Yeah, so we'll see what they do with that, but they are going to have some kind of destruction because we saw in the trailer there's a lot of areas with destroyed buildings that they're running around in. Looks like the New York part. I think the Wakanda fight, it looks like it's taking place far outside of the city.
Yeah. I will say, I noticed something we haven't talked about yet that's actually very intriguing, that they show a lot more highlights of the new characters. Like, they put them in more prominent positions. Like, Captain America doesn't really show a whole lot in the 2 trailers. You know, it's just doing Captain America stuff. Same thing with Vision. But, like, Spider-Man, he's at the end of the trailer. Mm-hmm. He's the last thing. And I think part of it is they're trying to show them that they're as popular or just as cool or cooler than the original, because they, I mean, for as much as this is the ending, they still have to, you know, they're still a business, and they have to apparently set up the next phase, which means they're already promoting for phase 4 or whatever they're going to call it, rebooted phase 1, as, you know, the original Marvel universe is ending. And I think you can kind of see that in this trailer, as you point out, or we point out. Thor's not in it. Iron Man's hardly in it. You see a lot of the Guardians of the Galaxy. You see a lot of, you know, Wakanda. You see a lot of Spider-Man. You see, you know, Doctor Strange doing his own thing. But you don't see a lot of Hulk, Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man.
Yeah, I think Stark will end up retiring. I don't think they're going to kill him, because they would still want to be able to say in the background, like, you know, Stark made this for me.
I'm pretty sure he's the new Nick Fury.
Right. And then I think Captain America and Thor will die. I don't think Hulk will die.
He'll probably just stay as Hulk.
Yeah, I think he would probably just stay as
write
Hulk.
out Mark Ruffalo.
Well, not write him out, but you just have him play Hulk, like you did in Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, you write out Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
But then you would also get things like you could come up with some like Red Hulk, Gray Hulk, She-Hulk. You could have go into a bunch of the other Hulk storylines. That would be interesting. But yeah, I mean, overall, I want to see it. I'm kind of excited about it. I hope it's really good. We've got links to all of our stuff in the description below, so check that out, social media and whatnot. I've got a live stream that's going to be going up on both channels tonight. First one for this channel, which is going to be about the other trailers that came out recently, and then live stream on Koricon Nala, my first channel, to go over Indian movie trailers that came out this week. So check those out if you want to hang out on the live streams. And like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, and we will see you on the next video. Quick promotion, everybody. I'm having fun using the Stardust app, which allows you to make up to a 30-second reaction to movies and TV shows, and I'd love to see your reactions and put them in my videos. If you're interested in that, download the Stardust app. I've got a link to it in the description below, and make sure to follow Koricon. And whenever you make a reaction, make sure that you tag Koricon so that I get notified and can see it. Whenever I make a reaction video or a movie review and I see your video, I will take clips from it and put them in my video. If you're a YouTuber, make sure to put your YouTube channel name on your reaction if you want free promotion. And if you're a fan of my channel and just want to be in there, great. So tag me on your reactions.